Praveen Arora. I'm the CEO and founder for FGNC Consulting. And as a consulting organization, we have been inventing some of the newer frameworks which can create value for the industry as a whole. Our mantra is to create success for individuals and the organization, but I think let's move further. That's not important. So we asked our participants in past, what are you going through? Do you have a challenge, right? Like some of the participants said here, the goal or a challenge that the participants had shared. So in past, when we asked the participants that what is your challenge that you're wanting to resolve, the most common challenges that came across was, I said, I have a challenge in managing my process. I have a challenge in managing the quality of an output. I have a challenge in managing the delivery to the customer. I have a challenge in managing people. So the common part that came across is management, right? In terms of how do we manage people, processes, technology, and the deliveries, right? While the terminologies are specific to the individual, but at the end, we are talking about the larger challenge, which is common, is to manage something. Right, and if we are trying to manage something, let's see that how do we really manage? It is by our own thinking pattern. And when we're managing a challenge or managing a problem, what we are doing is we're using our own thinking pattern. And where does this thinking pattern come from? The thinking pattern comes from our own set of experience. If I have 20 years of an experience, that means I have seen thousands of scenarios in which I have passed, failed, and how people or the stakeholders has reacted. That has some impression on me, and that is what I call as my experience. Like everybody from us has an experience, and that experience subconscious sits in our subconscious mind, and it tells us what to do at a situation. If we are crossing a road, we are at a junction, right? Our subconscious mind tells us, look left, right, look at the signal, and then move forward, right? It is not something that we are doing consciously, that every time, oh, today I forgot to stop at the signal. No, it is a subconscious mind which is telling us. This comes from an experience that we had in past, right? A lot of us know there are some signals that you jump. That also your experience tells us, right? That there's going to be no traffic, right? And you can violate the rule. I'm not saying that we should violate the rule, but it is our own set of experience which let us do the positive deeds or the deeds which we are not supposed to do. So it is our experience. So an experience tells us how to manage things. Now, when we talk about manage things by our own experience, you're saying it is only an individual. But then we heard about something called as a wisdom of crowd. Now, the wisdom of crowds means how about multiplying the experience of everybody who is involved? And when we are talking about multiplying, like what are we doing today? What is a conference, right? Or what is the definition of a conference, right? What we are doing is we are multiplying the experience of Praveen, Jasmine, Jitendra, Mahesh, Nitin, Dr. Rupali, right? That's what we are doing. We are bringing all the experience together so that you learn from the mistakes that we have done in past. Right? So there are only two ways of learning. One way of learning is you yourself get into the water. The second way of learning is coach tell you that when you get into a water, how are you supposed to perform? And that is based on the experience that the coach has. So is the power of ideation. So what we are saying that if there are 50 people, 3 experience from everybody that they share, that what makes an effective ideation program, right? 150 experiences, and that get that get along with the experience of the eminent speaker who are going to be there today. Right. So, okay. So the challenge is managing people, managing process, managing technology, managing delivery, right? In terms of a corporate, we call this is in terms of a goal, we say productivity, accuracy, turnaround time, right? Here are 3 prime goals. and the link to cost optimization or customer experience, right? So if you are working on either of these, right, then you have a challenge, right? Then you have a challenge that you want to address. And if you have a challenge you want to address, right, then we need to do something differently, something different than what created this challenge, because the same thought which created this challenge will not be able to solve the challenge. Now, to be able to get a variety of thoughts, right, ideation is the key. Now let's take an example of what differentiates organization. All of us would have heard that if you are moving into a star hotel, a cup of tea would cost you, when the joke started it was 50, right? And today I think 500. 500 may not be a wrong thing, right? To say that, okay, 500, right? Now the point is, what is the difference where you still get a 5 rupee tea and coffee on the street versus paying 500 for the facility that you get? Now what is that facility, or what differentiate that, right? Now I've been to variety of hotel when I travel, right? I have to stay somewhere, so most of the places where I've gone, I try to stay at multiple places, right? Every time I go, I look at a different place so that I get some different experience around the space, right? So now what differentiate one hotel from the other? If a hotel is charging 3,000 versus a hotel which is charging 13,000 of a rent, right? What differentiate? Now, one thing that I have seen, I walked into the Taj corridor, and there was a staff coming from a direction, and I asked a very simple question to the staff: where is the swimming pool? Now, what would have been a standard response? Right in the chat, if you ask a question within an organization, right? If a guest is walking into in your organization and ask you, where is the cafeteria, right? What is going to be the standard response? What kind of a response is that you will attract, right? Please write in the chat what kind of a responses that will be expected. Okay, would you like to visit and take them there? Excellent, right? What else? What is the kind of experience? Let me lead you. Excellent, excellent. What else is an experience, right? Experiences in varied scenarios where you got the different responses, right? What are the other responses that you will expect? Somebody is walking as a guest into your organization and ask the first staff that they come across and ask a very simple question, right? Where is the cafeteria? What is the kind of a response that they can expect? Generally, people will show direction. Yes, right? So what's a standard protocol? Standard protocol is, oh, you go straight, take right, then left, and you will find a place there. If you don't find right, then you can go and ask over there. And that's a standard protocol, because that's how humans work, right? Best thing is to take time and welcome, make him or her comfortable, and then direct him or her, right? Yes, so that's an ideal thing that we are talking about, direct somebody there. Let's talk about a practical scenario. Now, who are the person whom you actually come across first? In an organization, you want to enter a door and it is access control. You are an authorized person and you knock, right? Can you please give me an access? Who is the first person? That one is Monica saying security officer. Yes, other than security officer, who would be the first person who would see you? Okay, or reception, or else who would be there? If it is an operational floor where the reception and security officers are outside, right? Inside is an operational floor. Who is the person that you would see? The frontline staff, right? Within a frontline staff, there is a desk, right, which start first, right? Let's say A001 is the desk number, and there is a person who sits there daily. And when a person sits there daily, then he or she every hour get to knock. And if every hour a person is getting a knock, are you expecting a person to just walk along, and then probably that person half of the time would be in the cafeteria because he or she is showing the path to cafeteria, right? That's a challenge that we think, right? So help desk is again is a different desk, but in a normal operation floor, whosoever sitting close to the door, that's the first thing that strikes us, that if we start doing this, then who will do our job? Who will do operation if I'm always taking people to the cafeteria, right? And this is what create differentiation. The experience that the first executive that a guest come across, that executive create an experience for an organization as a whole. So I asked the first staff who actually was from an accounts department, right, who had no role to play with this, and asked where is the swimming pool, and like suggested by some of you, he actually said, come, I will walk with you, I will show you. He showed me direction, then walked with me, made me comfortable, right? And then he said, sir, anything else do you need here? Should I call an attendant, or do you need something? Should I get you a towel or something? I said, no, I'm comfortable. I said, thank you, sir, then I will take your leave. Same thing, I went to the best of hotels, but this experience was not consistent. People say you go left, you go right, you take left, if you get confused, you ask, or probably you go, even some were so nice, they told you go to ground floor, ask reception, they will tell you, and then you can go over there. Now they are same hotels, but this is what differentiating. Now what differentiate? One is what this behavior of the staff in a certain situation. This is called the culture of an organization. And when you say the culture of an organization, if from an hotel where this is not done, an executive joins into the hotel where it is done, let's say the Taj for now, right? Because I know they do it, right? They are masters in this, right? If they come and join Taj hotel, right, from immediately next day, he or she will start doing it, which he or she has not done in past, right? The culture. Moment a new entrant comes into the culture, right, he or she take very less time and get adopted. But if you want to transform the complete culture of an organization, it takes months, right? But somebody new coming into an organization immediately grasps this. Somebody moving from Taj to an alternate hotel where it is not done, right, they will take some time to forget, but eventually they will forget. I said, nobody else does it. Why should I only do it? Wisdom of crowd. Where our crowd is moving, right? You would not want to stand alone or stand differently, right? You will say, this is how this crowd moves, right? So I will start moving in that particular direction. So wisdom of crowd, right? So now we are talking about an experience, right? A culture. Now culture, we are saying, is the behavior. Now the best culture in an organization is formed by the people who are there. There are policies for sure, but it is the people who matter. And the well-engaged people, employees, stakeholders are the one who creates this culture. So what comes is the engagement of the people. Right now, if we are talking about engagement of the minds, right, engagement of the brightest mind, whom we have selected after so many rounds of interviews, the best way to engage is not the human, but the mind of a human. Agree with me? Who agree with me that the best engagement is to engage the mind of the people? If you agree with me, just write agree. Just write agree into the chat box. If you don't agree, just say don't agree. Agree. Okay. Thanks, Maheshri. Thanks, Jasmine. Thanks, Ivan. Thanks, Nitin. Agree, right? So the best way to engage human or the stakeholder within an organization is to engage mind. Why do people leave organization? Why do people leave organization? What are the reasons that people leave organization? The many reasons, right? One, yes, the standard is manager, right? But there are more than manager that not appreciated, right? Yes, if they are not appreciated, they're not motivated enough to work. No growth, right? So if people are not growing, they move, right? Not engaged. The foremost reason, right, which still doesn't come onto the paper is that the people were not engaged. Now, when we say people were not engaged, that means their minds were not engaged. Now, how do we actually engage mind? How do we actually engage mind? When I say motivation, right? So how do we engage mind? Communicate, right? Let them know that something is happening. Teamwork, happiness, right? Okay, thank you, thank you. What else are the ways to engage mind? Make it creative and open culture. Communicate, excellent. What are the other ways to engage mind? Group activities, excellent. What else? What else are the ways to engage mind? How do we engage how do we engage human mind? Involve the people in whatever you do, excellent. Give visibility, align organization goal within, excellent. Transparency, learn, everything is right. Freedom to express yourself, excellent. What are the ways to engage mind? Clarity on task, wow, excellent. Transparency, yes. What are the ways to engage mind? Social activities, excellent. Breaking bases, right? What's that? Breaking bases? Biases, okay, excellent. Yeah, reduce biases, right? Freedom to try and fail and succeed, right? Experimentation, allow them to experiment, right? Fun activities, appreciate, yes. What are the other ways to engage mind? Go on, this is going good. You don't need me. I'm saying 50 people coaching each other, right? What are the ways to engage mind? Go on, I want to hear from you. Training, okay. One of the ways training, right? Okay. What else? What else? What are the ways to engage mind? I'm not looking for any specific answer, right? But I want to multiply this learning, right? What are the ways to engage mind? Keep on writing, right? Let me switch on the AC. What are the ways to engage mind? Okay, letting me grow personally, professionally, mindfulness, seek to know the reason, right? Okay. So experience sharing, right. So everything that we are talking about is like engaging the mind, right? That means giving some tasks to a mind. An idle mind, right, which does not have a task, creates tasks for itself. And moment the mind itself creates a task, then you are engaged in all wrongful things. So you need to give a positive task to your mind to engage yourself, right? Now, what is that? The best way to do that is engage them into improving something, challenging something. Because everybody have a challenge. The role that we play in our organization or personal life is about managing something. Are we managing people? Are we managing process? Are we managing technology? Are we managing customer? Are we managing the deliveries to the customer or customer experience, right? So irrespective of function, you may be from HR, learning and development, right? Excellence team, you may be from an operations, you may be from finance, right? You may be from any reputed function that you work with, right? The years of experience that you have captured, your mind look at using that experience, right? If you do not use the experience that you have captured, then the mind is not engaged. Everybody, as a human psychology, all of us want to be part of something significant, something large, something big, which is happening. Now, how do we actually become part of something significant and big? One, there is a communication, right? If there is a like organization wide, like their work from home policies are being created, there's a transformation happening, productivity is a question mark, right? Because we are trying to come back to an original level of productivity, and everybody is looking at ways and means to enhance the productivity in the current scenario, in the current scenario where we are working remotely, right? Now our mind is working toward that. But if somebody walks into you, calls you up and say, okay, we are looking at improving productivity, you have any idea? Now what happened? You feel so important. You feel, wow, oh, I am respected in this organization. Wow, they need me. They need me, right? And when you say, okay, you have an idea, everybody have an idea. And this is a very, very powerful word. This is a very, very powerful word. Only thing that we are saying is opening up, right? We are opening a communication, right? We are being transparent, that we are looking at improving productivity, or we are looking at improving the customer experience. Do you have an idea? As a manager, as a supervisor, as a head of a business vertical, or a head of a HR and excellence, right? All of us has this responsibility to create a culture for the organization. And if we are the one like who create the culture, leadership team is the one who influence the culture, right? They are the one who establish it. And how do they establish it? By demonstrating, not by saying we are a people-centric organization written in the value system, or written on the walls and kind of a thing, right? And then not doing anything about it does not create a culture. How culture is influenced, how culture is created is by taking baby steps. The culture is demonstrated by anybody who's walking into an organization and they ask the first executive of an organization that, okay, I want to go into a cafeteria. I want to meet Mr. Rajesh, right? Where is Mr. Rajesh? That's it. The person, by the response that he or she get, they'll get to know what this organization is. You go to an hotel, you go to a restaurant, you ask for a glass of water, even if you have not come there to dine, but the way every individual in that restaurant responds to you, you get to know whether this restaurant really deserve your presence or not, and why they respond in a particular way. Are they engaged? And how do we engage the mind? We are talking about involve them into something larger which is happening in the organization. And now what is that something larger? The larger is, we are talking about a strategic goal, goes down to the functional goal, or a challenge that we are facing in meeting those goals, or in meeting the customer experience, right? Involve them. So everybody want to be part of something significant. And I think such a noble thoughts that all of you shared, right? You talk about transparency, you talk about communication, right? You are saying that the contribution that an individual can do, let that skill come up. There are 8 types of a waste, and 8th type of a waste which is most valuable is the waste of skill, unutilized skill, right? That means if you have a skill and you're not utilizing that skill, then you're wasting. That's the biggest waste that all of us sit on. Are we really able to utilize the skill? Anybody who joins an organization or a function and is more than 6 months into that function and is just doing a transaction is wasting the skill. The dialogue that we talked about, day in life of, right? Day in life of Praveen, right? What does Praveen does? Praveen does transaction. So when Praveen joined, for the first 6 months, you're learning and doing transaction. That is fine. But if 7 months also Praveen is only doing transaction, and Praveen is not contributing for the improvement of the function, Praveen is not generating thoughts, ideas on how to do, or Praveen is not vocal enough on the challenges that is being faced, Praveen is underutilizing the skill. So we are saying, how do we actually engage mind? By reducing the waste of unutilized skill, right? Underutilization of skill, right? So people are engaged. When people are engaged, they create experience for the guest, they create experience for the customer, anybody who is like walking into the organization. So that's the power of the ideation that we are actually talking about. Right? That's an idea of engaging mind. That's an idea of solving the problem or moving strategically. right? So what is strategy? Strategy is about achieving something that is set for the year. Now, what is that? Is some talk about the cost, optimization, experience, various. So based on your function, you set up a different strategy. But strategy talks about delta. One thing common is a delta, that this is the way we function today, and we want to function in a different way so that these goals are achieved. So we are talking about shift from current to the newer way of working. We are talking about manage people, manage processes, manage technology, manage the delivery to the customer. The outcome of managing it well is in terms of productivity, experience, and whatever results that we are actually talking about. So it is about management, right? So let's understand some of the practices which relates to it. And this is not a training program, right? We are talking about a master class and a conference. So let's start a short exercise, and let's do the ideation campaign and understand that how does it actually reflect, right? What is a good ideation? What are the challenges that is faced, and how do we actually overcome that? Let's do an exercise. Let's start the ideation, and whosoever want to share an idea, feel free to unmute yourself and share your idea. The topic that we are going to discuss is how to improve knowledge of staff without getting them into the room. Is that a relevant topic? Say yes or no in the chat. Is this a relevant topic for a current scenario where we are talking about how do we improve knowledge of staff without getting them into training room? Because now we no longer have that freedom, liberty to get people into the room, right? For a training, a new joiner has joined in, right? Can you ask that new joiner at 2 days of an induction start, report to office at 9 a.m. and 2 days we are going to train you fully on what this organization does, and then for next 3 weeks you are going to be into the process training, right? Not possible. Not possible, right? The industry is trying to reinvent. The industry is trying to find out ways and means of how to improve the learning level, the competency of people without getting them into the room, right? So let's say this is the topic, right? Let us start, right? Ideation starts now, right? Whosoever want to talk about, please unmute yourself and you can speak. Now the forum is on you. I'm just going to be a silent spectator. Okay, let's start.
Hi Praveen, Nitin here.
Hi Nitin.
So Praveen, first thing is like it's a common philosophy in HR where it says that the skill development happens in 70-20-10, which 70% is on the job, 20% is coaching and mentoring, and 10% is only the training. So training part is just the 10%. The 70% of the skill development happens right on the workplace. So if we create an environment where people are interacting with each other and we encourage the people to continuously improve their processes or give the ideas to improve their products, process, and make them simpler, easier for their work. So that is how they develop right with working itself in on the shop floor.
Right. So we say that there are things we do consciously, there are things we do unconsciously, right? So Nitin, you are saying already unconsciously we have so many interventions to improve the knowledge levels, right? Which are working, and when it comes to improving knowledge, or what thing reflect is the training. So what are those 70% of the intervention we are talking about? So do you want to talk about at least one intervention?
About that 70% is that when people are working, you encourage them to give ideas to improve how they can make their job better, how they can make their job easier. Or because what happens is when somebody new joins, you just focus on what is said to you. You just focus on learning. So, but we don't encourage the ideas from people. And there is when somebody comes from a new to the organization, or somebody comes from a different department, he has a different eye to look upon the existing process. If we hear to them, it will help them and it will help us.
Right. So one thing you're saying is ideas is one of the way of learning, right? Excellent. Thank you, Nitin. Okay, who else, right? Please speak up, right? I'm not looking at chat, right? I'm wanting you to speak up. Unmute yourself, right? Whosoever has an idea, please speak up.
Hi Praveen, this is Rekha here.
Hi, Rekha.
Yeah, so I think more to do with the experience that they learn, on the job. The errors that they make and they learn from the mistakes that is more than getting into it. That is something we cannot give it through a training room. And also share the partners who are experienced partners who is making an error or having some learning, making sure that that is shared with the team. The mistake happened and what is done and what is the control which is being implemented. And sharing some of the best practices with the team through team huddles and all on a regular basis will definitely improve the knowledge of the staff.
Excellent. So what Nitin talked about is idea, right? What you are saying is one on whatever you learn, share with the team, right? So Rekha, you want to say how do you actually share with the team? What is the intervention?
These are shared on a regular basis. These are shared on a regular basis as and when people are get an update on the process or a change in the process, or they learn from the mistake which is being made. Uh, it can be shared as part of a huddle. I mean, we can have a daily huddle where we can take 10 minutes every day and then share some of these learnings with
Okay,
with the
so
team.
huddle, right? Excellent. Thank you, Rekha. So you're talking about huddle, right? Excellent. So one of the intervention is idea. The second, what Rekha spoke about is huddle, right? Okay, what else? What are the interventions that can be used?
Praveen, Nitin again, adding to Rekha's point, I remember when I was a production engineer, once I did a mistake in the process. So what my manager did is that rather than penalizing me or asking, scolding me, asked me what what will make you not to repeat this mistake or how can you make others learn about this. So I made a 1 point lesson and I made an SOP. I made a change in the SOP so that that mistake cannot be repeated. So
Okay,
that
so you're
was,
talking about 1 point lesson, right?
yeah.
Okay, right. So 1 point lesson, right? Okay, excellent, excellent, right? I think Mr. Mammon, you
Yeah,
want to write? Please unmute and yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
yeah. Hi, Praveen. It's Musna here.
Okay.
So, I think it starts from really building a very free and conducive environment in the team, and one of the way to do that is where people feel more accommodative and not very hesitant to speak their mind. I think I've seen it makes sense to say have a forum where say 30 minutes at the start of the day we have a quick huddle, and rather than people saying what went well, just be open in a trusted circle to say, okay, what didn't go well in my work in last day or last few days, and how did I overcome that challenge? Where did I fail? How did I try to fix the problem? So people would be more open to talk about mistakes, more open to talk about errors, and that's where the whole ideation comes into picture, where then you build a trusted circle where peers comes to help, where they relate it to their own experiences, and that's how the knowledge grows. So it's also more learning from the past, so that people who have come on board it, they know what has happened, they don't reinvent the wheel, but they still move forward keeping in mind what could have gone wrong and how people have worked around the solutionizing part of it, and what experience he can now bring to play in the current scenario to really take it a level above. So I think it all boils down to really having that free environment of speaking thoughts and ideas and experiences.
Excellent. So you're talking about more than two things. One, create an environment of trust, open, where a free environment where people can open up. And then the intervention you're talking about is similar to a huddle, right? We are saying only the different thing that you're saying here is that the beginning of shift, right? Beginning of shift or end of shift, right? Have a huddle kind of a thing, and because the intervention is something specific, right? And this is the specific Musna, that you said that create a forum at the beginning of a shift or end of a shift, right, where people can open up and people can discuss, right? And
Yeah,
experience
that's right.
learning is what we are talking about. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. What else? What else? What are the other interventions?
Hi, this is Ashish Jain.
Yeah. Hi, Ashish.
just would like to really share two things. One is, we can actually do a case study analysis, because every day there are some or the other issues which may come up, and those are not necessary that everybody is going to be really aware about it. So rather, we are going to do a solutionizing of that particular thing. We can run a program where we can do a case study analysis. It's going to be really get shared with the team, and asking them to provide the solution. How are we going to really mitigate that risk? It's going to
Right.
be also helpful to get the ideas from the team. Rather, we are going to really implement those ideas onto them. So that's one of the things which I feel that is going to be helpful. Second thing which I feel is a kind of kind of a contest, or any kind of incentivization program which can be really done within the team, where we can do the very detailed analysis in terms of the issues or the errors which has been really done within the people, and then we are going to share the scores, and the people who are going to really do well, that score is going to be really, that person can be incentivized, or it can be really rewarded in terms of in terms of appreciation, or the letter of appreciation, or any other thing. So these are two things which
Great.
I
So
feel that.
experiential, you're saying, Ashish, is create case studies, right? Share those analysis with the team and incentivize people so that they come up with the case studies, right? Thank you, Ashish. Thank you. Who else? Who else want to share? I know there are many. There is 1,000 years of an experience which is there on the call, right? So I want to hear a few more. Last idea, right? Who want to be last? Yes, I'm waiting. Like, who want to be the last, right? One more idea that we want, right? We have 5 ideas, right? One more idea that we want.
Okay, I can speak if nobody is speaking. This is Rekha again.
Okay, hi Rekha. Yeah.
Yeah, we can conduct brainstorming sessions, and we can ask the team in terms of what are the manual tasks or what are the risks in the process, and we can brainstorm among the entire team in terms of what we can do to avoid those risks, or what controls can be implemented in the
So
process, or
I'll like
if that can be
hold you
automated.
to a while, Rekha, over here, right? So now this is the brainstorming session that we were holding, right? We were discussing about ideation,
Yeah.
and this is the brainstorming session that we're holding, right? What is your observation that how did this go, and what is your observation?
Can I speak?
Yes, please.
This is Monica. I was thinking of maintaining a knowledge management bank wherein, every time there is something right, something goes right or something goes wrong, you kind of make a note of it, and then, so anybody and everybody um, can just log in and, put a keyword and be able to find out things like, how our call center does, right? They keep recording every kind of problem that comes in.
Right. Great. I think that's a great idea, Monica, but I think we had moved on to the second question, and probably you can help us answer that. We are doing a brainstorming session now, right? I think last 15 minutes, and we just concluded the brainstorming session. And now I want to ask you, or anybody in the audience, right? How effective was this brainstorming session, right? What was good and what did not go well?
Again, Monica here.
Yes, Monica.
Okay, so most of these ideas that have come out through the brainstorming is something that we all knew, but we didn't have it in one place. So if someone just asked us suddenly, we wouldn't be able to jot down all this together. So it's like having, like simply the way you said, having that many ideas together.
Okay, so Okay, so what you're saying is, let me come to the whiteboard and let me give it a label of on what we are actually talking about. We are saying uh, barrier to an effective ideation or a brainstorming session, right? So the first thing that, Monica, what you're saying is known ideas has come, right? And known ideas, or what we say is top of mind, right? Is that fair? Can I say top of mind ideas?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So one is that, okay, top of mind ideas that come, right? What are the other barriers? What are the other observations? I want to listen from you guys.
This top of idea is both barrier and advantage.
Yeah, it can be a barrier advantage as well, right?
Uh, Praveen, I think it is the diverse ideas which is coming from the experience of the people who are around.
Okay, the positive is there are diverse ideas because the right set of an audience is a diverse set of an audience. So what is expected is a diverse set of ideas, right? Excellent, right? Good. So there are diverse ideas. What else is the observation? Okay, Alka is saying this was good brainstorming session, right? But Alka, also reflect on what went well or what did not go well. Lesson learned, okay. Giving critical feedback, right? Fair enough, right? Okay. What else was the observation? I have my observation, right? But I want to hear from you. Yeah, it's a post-lunch session, right? I do not want to be dancing on a stage and everybody is sleeping, right? So I want to be sure, like you are there, right? You're awake. So I want to hear from all of you. Post-lunch session sometimes difficult, right? So I want all of you to be part of it, right? It is not that we are not into a training, right? I'm not training anybody. It is, we are sharing experience among each other. Everybody is equally respected, and you have many of you would have more diverse knowledge than even what I have, right? We are exchanging thoughts, and in the process, right, we are trying to discovering something which can create difference in our own life. Okay, some may shy away from sharing, right? So I'm kind of truncating a part, right? Unexperienced team may shy away from sharing, right? I would say some will shy away. Some most experienced people will shy away. Some less experienced people will shy away, because being shy is a personal trait. Whatever best I know, right? If I'm a shy person, I will hesitate. Now, if we have 40 people on the call, how many people actually spoke? How many people spoke? 5, right? There are 5 people, right? Who spoke about, right? So out of 40, only 5 people spoke. So whenever there is an ideation program, brainstorming is a program that happened, the first barrier that comes is that only few people participate. And who participate now? Since there are only few people, they will first start with the first round of discussion will start with is top of mind ideas, right? Musna, please go ahead. You can share. Yeah, please unmute and you can speak. I think, I don't know if you're raising hand now or you're raised hand earlier, right? No need to raise hand, right? Whosoever want, right? Please unmute yourself and speak. This is your time. I think Jasmine raised hand, right?
Yeah, can I contribute to this?
Please go ahead.
So, Praveen, one of my past experience, which I have noticed is during barriers, is one of the major tasks is the top management resistance to accept, you know.
Okay. And how do they demonstrate this?
It's just basically, you know, how we say, ek kaan se suna, dusre kaan se. It's just heard but never given a platform to implement. And that's where I have seen that it triggers an employee's disengagement journey starts.
Right, right.
So
And how does the leadership demonstrate their resistance?
come again with your question.
How does the leadership team demonstrate their resistance when there's an ideation which is happening? How does anyone demonstrate their resistance?
It's a common answer. There's no time or there's no budget. These are the two common answers which are there.
This can't be done, right? Okay. So let me share a short story. Organization having challenge with regard to the customer experience. The customer is calling up and saying, whenever I want to reach you, I need to hold for 20-25 minutes before I can actually reach to an executive who can give me a solution. And half of the time I don't get a solution. So I wasted an hour, I didn't get a solution, and I want to close my account. Fair, sounds good. So now the head of vertical walks into the floor, calls up the key people and say, I want an idea. This is the problem I have been talking about for so many months. Now, one of our largest client who had been raising this complaint has come to a standstill, and they are saying they are going to close the account. This means 30% of the business will go away. What should be done? I want to hear from you. And I only want high impact ideas. Don't tell me run the mill ideas. I do not want you to just talk about what you have been talking about and kind of a thing, right? I want high impact idea. Jasmine, what do you say? How do we do this? Please tell me. You are on mute, Jasmine.
Yeah, are you putting me on the spot right now?
I'm saying if this is one of the way where the leadership demonstrate their barrier, right? Now, what are verbiages? Like, let's go to the verbiages, right? One, I only want high impact ideas, right? Is there something called high impact idea? Or anybody can respond. Is there something called as an high impact idea? Many of you would have heard about a simple soap story. The customer is getting the soap boxes without a soap, and the complaint was raised, and the engineers built up a complete plan, and they said we'll put an X-ray analyzer and the weigh bridge, and every piece that's going to be weighed and kind of a thing, right? And yeah, the management said yes, it's 70 lakh of an expense, and they were about to approve that expense. They said this is high impact idea, right? This is something which will create a customer experience, and in front of that I'm fine to invest 70 lakh of rupees, right? But yeah, the MD was kind of, he said that is fine, but this is a simple problem, right? And you're saying this is a high impact. Let me think about it, right? He goes for a walk, ask a workman, right? This is the problem that I'm having, right? What should be done? The workman said, it's very simple, sir. Put up a fan there. If it's an empty box, it will fly away, right? Now, if somebody would have so simply walked in and talked about it, right? They said, oh, it is a simple idea. Don't tell me silly ideas. I want a high impact idea. Is it that which involve a high investment become a high impact idea? Or is it the outcome of an idea which make it a high impact idea? Nobody knows. The biggest barrier that comes in is when we start evaluating ideas, right? What we are doing, we are evaluating ideas as they are being shared, we are accepting, rejecting, right? And when that happens, that becomes a bigger barrier. The way I communicate to Jasmine, I just need a high impact idea. I'm threatening her, right? And Jasmine is worried, right? He's putting me on spot. She said it. That you're putting me on spot, right? The point is now the Jasmine will be very careful. That should I really share an idea? If there's a culture which is like a threatening culture, right? So I think the ideation becomes difficult, the barrier to an idea, right? So I think, Sunny is raised hand. Yes, Sunny, please go ahead. You can unmute yourself and you can share what you want to.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Sunny. This is. So I totally agree with you. You should not discourage people, or you should not justify saying that I need a high impact idea until unless you don't hear it out. You don't understand either it is going to be high impact or a low impact. Even sometimes it may sound very simple idea, but the outcome can come tremendously good. Correct. So
Right.
the barrier which I would like to share is the theme. If the audience is not clear about the theme, what is the theme, then they won't be able to share the idea. They won't be able to connect. So then the whole ideation can be hijacked to some other extent or some other point. So that can be one of the criteria. That can be one of the barrier, I think. So the person who is driving the ideation workshop, he should be well. He should have done his analysis pretty well, and he should understand the audience and make the clarity about the theme.
Excellent. I think, Sunny, you made a very valid point, right? You said that, okay, the challenge comes when the problem is not understood right and people are giving ideas to solve something which in itself is not clear. And so there has to be a clarity. What that means is we should not be evaluating and saying that, no, this will not work or this will work, but we should spend a great amount of a time in bringing clarity before the session start. Once the session started, it has started, right?
Yes.
Like Devraj is saying, right? There is nothing called an high impact. The result is what tells whether the impact was high or low, right? The ideas are always simple, right? Excellent. Thanks, Devraj, right?
Exactly.
Maestri is saying all ideas are equal. Excellent. Thank you. And Abid is saying that there is nothing like high impact. Solutions are always simple. Excellent. And right, so impact lies on the execution excellence, right, Devraj? Thank you, thank you. So what we are saying is, one is the culture, right? How do we actually start this exercise? What are the barriers? Until the problem is understood, the solutions cannot be arrived. And the challenge is, like Jasmine said, it starts from the leadership, where the leadership is something where they themselves are creating barriers, right? You share an idea and say put a fan, they will say no. When a customer comes in and they talk about an X-ray, sometimes they will say yes. So when do a human say yes or no? Because the leaders are also human, right? When do somebody say yes or no? If your boss is saying yes to something and saying no to something, right? What may be the reason that he or she is saying yes to something and no to something?
When it matches to what he's thinking, or maybe the same kind of idea what he's having in back of his mind.
Excellent, excellent. So you say yes to things which match your thinking pattern, right?
Correct.
You think this is right? So this workshop started where the vice president of the unit came in and said, team, I need high impact ideas, right? Praveen started sharing, sir, I think the fan can be put into that place. Probably that will have, shut up, Praveen, I told you many times, this won't work. Okay, who is next? A threatening environment will not work, right? Second is not accepted. Now when is not accepted that thought because it does not match his or her thought process, right? So what will happen? Everybody in the room is going to be conscious. They'll say, I don't know whether Praveen will like or not, so let me be silent. That's the best thing to do, right? That's the best thing to do. So people will be silent, people will be shy. So one is by behavior, people are shy. Second, in a situation, people act shy because they say, whatever I will say, he is not going to accept it, right? So yes, so that the challenge is people are shy. The second barrier is the leadership resistance, right? And they demonstrate the leadership resistance by giving judgments, right? Before evaluating, if somebody start giving the judgment and say this will work, this will not work, no, this is not a good idea, this is a bad idea, this is not a high impact idea, ideation will not work, right? What are the other barriers? if we start putting constraints, but this cannot be done, you will need more money, you'll need that. No, it is the sharing of idea. Evaluation of an idea is a second subject. The first subject is where we need to get most of the ideas onto the table, right? And once we have ideas onto the table, we can wear the hat of evaluation and then think that what can be taken forward and what cannot be taken forward. But at the first instance, we are talking about let the volume, the quantity of an idea, is most important than anything else. Let the quantity of ideas come in, right? And then the ideation is going to be right. And when the ideation is right, there are going to be hundreds of ideas that it will talk about, right? Let's, so these are a few of the barrier. That only few will speak, they will speak top of mind, and then there's an evaluation cycle that gets started because people are talking from their own experience of success and failure. Now let's see what will be the rules of a brainstorming which can actually work. Now, if we are talking about a brainstorming, we are actually talking about creating a funnel of ideas, creating a funnel which will solve the current challenge or current business problem. And when we talk about a funnel, what we talk about is we are talking about thousands of ideas or hundreds of ideas based on the number of participants which are there, which will be contributed, right? Everybody get an equal opportunity. Everybody should have an equal opportunity to contribute. No evaluation of an idea to be done when they are, no evaluation when they are being shared. When the ideas are being shared, there's no evaluation. Every idea needs to be respected, right? Respect the participants, and respect for a participant is when we respect the idea that they have shared, right? Respect participant, and that is the respect for an idea which is there, right? Idea can change everything, but provided we respect. But when we are sharing now, we need to open up everybody. So there are techniques around that. So one of the technique that we are talking about is a round robin technique. What that means, everybody is sitting in a sequence, right? At a round robin. Mostly people talk about the circle, but even round square or round triangle is also good, right? Based on a number of people, have a setup where everybody can see each other and start from one corner and move to the next part of it, right? Until you reach in over here, everybody get an opportunity to share. If they don't have an idea yet, right, they can say pass, but they got an opportunity to talk. Everybody share just one idea at a time, and you walk in, and then probably everybody get covered. And then starts the second round, third round, fourth round, till everybody is exhausted of their ideas, right? That's how they happen. So what is happening? Everybody got an opportunity, no evaluation is happening, idea is captured, and then you summarize these, you try to find out that what are the unique ideas from all of it, right? So what was thousands will become, let's say the 200 ideas that becomes, right? And then after this cycle is complete, then you start the journey of evaluation. Right? Then you start the journey of evaluation, right? Now the journey of 1,000 idea we are talking about. Does 1,000 idea come in the single instance? You just started a cycle of a brainstorming, right? The ideation exercise started, right? Do you directly get in first session itself, you get 1,000 ideas?
No.
No, right? So what does it take to generate ideas?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so what I see is a conducive environment that needs to be created with an intention very clearly defined, okay, as to why is the idea being generated and what is the possible outcome that is to be seen, okay. So engaging, involving the crowd to the intention that's been expected.
Excellent, excellent. So let's put this in a sequence, right, as a process, as a flow. So we say we schedule the discussion, right, with relevant people. Now, who are the relevant people? Who are clustered. Sometime based on an objective, you would want a diverse audience, and sometime based on an objective, you would want a similar audience. Like you may say, I want to have all the new joinees separately because they will not open up in front of their supervisors. Supervisors is a second group to me. Vintage, there are low and high vintage. This is a separate group to me. So there are 4 groups which is formed, and those 4 groups, we have a separate instances which is created. Now, once these instances are created, we ask them virtually in room or through a technology interventions. And I think the speaker series, which will start, right, the white paper presentations, which will start, they will talk about a lot of ways to basically pull in these. So when these discussions and everything start, right, that time this group start in a round robin kind of thing. They come in, they take their seat, and now you start to give clarity at the beginning. As a first step is we are talking about schedule. Second step we are talking about is a relevant audience. Third step we are talking about is a clustered. Fourth step we are talking about is a clarity. We said we will talk about step-by-step process for ideation, and this in this master class, and that's what we are talking about. Give clarity, right? Clarity in terms of what is the problem or a goal that we want to solve. Are there any boundaries to the solution? That is it for a regional solution we are looking at? Is it a national solution? Are we looking at technology based with investments, or we looking at low investment kind of a thing? Are there any boundaries, right? Bring that upfront, right? Not when an idea is shared, but bring that upfront, that what is the scope that is there, bring in clarity around that. So problem is understood, right? Boundaries are understood, scope is understood, there is a clarity around the table. Once it is done, give them individual 10 minutes to write. Because one of the other barrier, which is again a significant barrier, is that everybody want to pour in the idea. The people who are not shy, everybody want to speak instantly, right? I thank all of you that you have been so nice that people were raising hand and not. I didn't find 2 people talking at a time, right? So I think great. I think that was something excellent. But that's not how it happens when we are in a room. Everybody is wanting to talk at the same time. What is the reason that everybody is wanting to talk at the same time? Because there are 2 thoughts. One, I will forget. Second, what happens if my idea is shared by somebody else? I want credit for my idea, right? If somebody else shares this, then what will I do? I will have to generate one more idea. So to get away from that, so what you ask them is to write down. Write down on a chit or a notebook. So that fear is gone. I will not forget because it's written down. Now nobody can say that, okay, this is only his or her idea. At any point of time, I can say, see, even I thought about it, right? So there is, if that's the thing, right? That's taken care. And then the round robin is one of the most accepted way around this. Start with the round robin, right? So have first round, second round, third round, till the ideas are exhausted. So now what you're doing, you're capturing all of these thoughts from everybody who's around that. And then you have noted down, right? Capture all ideas. There is no evaluation that is being done. Now, this is a 7-step process that we are talking about, right? And then we are talking about repeat 1, 2, and 3. So when you do the first round of a brainstorming, first round of an ideation exercise, what happens is top of mind idea come up. When I asked you the learning, right, all of you have shared your top of mind idea which you have been thinking or we're trying to do something. Once people are exhausted with their top of mind ideas, then the thinking pattern actually starts. And when the thinking pattern actually start, right, then what will be the second round, right? When you call them after 2 days, let's again meet. Now people will start researching. They will go back to the floor. They will Google out, right? They will ask a friend. Everything which is there is a second round. Second round should not be disclosed before the first round is done. It should not be disclosed that we are going to meet second time. So now, so the first is top of mind. Is done, right? Googling is done. Looking at the statement is done. Now you announce, okay, we are going to be third round of a brainstorming. They're going to be resistance and anything, everything that we knew we have already shared. Now you please tackle your problem. No, we want to meet the third time, and that's where I think the gem of ideas will come, because this is the place where people will storm their brain. This is the stage in which people are going to storm their brain. And when they're storming their brain, then is the next set of ideas that you will get. Very few, but very, very significant ideas is something that will start pouring in. This is a 7-step process, right? It works seamlessly. Ideation program, we have seen the brainstorming that we have seen, 60 to 70% of our brainstorming sessions fail. You ask the leaders that have you done a brainstorm, said no, the same old rotten ideas come up, nothing new that come up. Because there is a process, if that process of ideation, if that's not what is captured rightly, it will not lead to result, right? So I think, yeah, I will not take much time. So it is supposed to be an ice-breaking session. So another 5 minutes before I will invite Jasmine for her talk to start, right? And one is capture, or what we will say generate ideas, and that is a 7-step process. Second is the genuine evaluation. And third, which is most important, is closed loop mechanism. When we say mechanism, that means the system of doing it seamlessly. System of doing this seamlessly. Seamlessly, that means every time, the system of doing it every time, right? And this should include reward if there is involved, and, or if you cannot, then probably you give them a feedback and say, you shared an idea, it was a valuable idea, but yes, we are not able to take this idea forward, right? For ABC reason. An organization may decide to give or not to give a reason, right? But a feedback is reached, because next time when you go for an ideation exercise, one of the biggest challenges that you face, the team talks about and say, what happened to my prior idea? I never heard. You just take idea, never tell me. And when this happens, no new idea comes in, right? And the ideas are not generated, right? So then after the closed loop mechanism, start and cycle of execution, and there you do the priority, and then you will talk about the resource allocation and kind of thing, right? So that's an end-to-end cycle that we are talking about, right? And I think I would stop in over here. A lot more is being shared by Jasmine, Jitendra, Nitin, Dr. Rupali, and I will invite her in a while, right? And I would want you to take some time to ask the questions, right? So you have 5 minutes, right? You can ask question before I hand it over to Jasmine. How do we institutionalize the ideation process? Okay, excellent, a good question, Sra. So there are ways to institutionalize this. One, once you determine this, some of the organization, what they do is they have a technology build that they do. In last organization, we had something called as a thing, where a platform was created under digital kind of a thing, right? And then there were a monthly campaign schedule which was built in. And with that monthly campaign, this used to happen seamlessly. Every month there used to be a trigger. Based on a trigger, the cycle used to be reported. And there was an idea officer. There was an idea officer whose roles and responsibility involved accelerating the complete ideation cycle. Every problem which was there, this became one of a significant parts, and to institutionalize, calendarize. So there was an officer who was appointed, there was a policy which was in place, and then a monthly calendar was created. And based on that, this entire cycle used to run. Yeah, that's one of the way to institutionalize. I'm sure there are many other ways which I think the speaker is going to talk about. Okay, what else? So I want to hear if there are more questions. There are more questions, right? Any experience anybody want to share with the cycle? Anybody want to share their experience in terms of how did they find this complete journey?
Praveen, I would like to add something.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
So very recently we had launched the Kaizen event. So as you know, that Kaizen event is also a kind of a idea generation, and it is mostly like a classroom event where you train
Sunny, you
people.
want to give a brief introduction, like which organization you come from for benefit of everybody?
I work with Johnson Control India.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, please
and
go ahead.
I drive the process excellence team over there. I'm driving the Six Sigma culture. I'm responsible for driving the operational excellence. Apart from that, the training supports as well. So I'm a certified Six Sigma black belt. So this is a brief about me and my organization. So yeah, as I said, recently we were doing this Kaizen event. We were launching that. So we launched it in a pre-COVID situation where we wanted to train employees on the classroom environment. But due to the COVID situation, everything changed. And Kaizen is actually a kind of a you say practice which is majorly used in manufacturing industry. But now we were launching it in a service-based industry. So due to the COVID, the entire theme changed, and we changed the entire process, and we adapted to the online kind of a session. So there.
Okay.
We were struggling to get the idea generation in the idea generation. So what we did, we created a kind of a competition. We created the Kaizen circle teams and the competition among them. So let's say 10 teams we created along with the under each LOBs, and created a kind of a competition so that people will get motivated, and they will understand what is the rewards and recognition they're gonna get if their ideas are getting selected as the best Kaizen, or maybe the best productive Kaizen or something. So we created a kind of a competitive environment, and we ended up getting huge amount of ideas, over 1,000. So that is one of the tricks we followed.
Excellent. So that would have been a memo task to evaluate those, and did it follow a closed loop mechanism where you're able to give feedback to everybody, or I think the cycle would still be on?
The cycle was on. What we created, because I was the one who was driving the culture. So what we did, I created a vertical below me. I created 5 spokes under me who are driving the same kind of a function, who are the single point of contact for the Kaizen drive in their LOB. So this is a kind of a chain which we created, so that the response rate should be very fast.
Okay, excellent. I think great thoughts, Sunny. Wish you all the best, and great. So we're talking about 1,000 ideas, right? Can we please clap for Sunny once, right?
Thanks. Thanks, Praveen.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Sunny.
Let me tell you frankly, because we were targeting somewhere around 100 or 200 ideas because of the COVID
Okay.
situation. So, but it was a huge success for us.
And this is the engagement of mind. I can tell you the biggest risk organizations are facing today, that people, when they're not seeing their friends, they're not meeting, they're not in a culture where they used to work, right? They're seeking elsewhere, they're seeking jobs, right? That a lot of people are talking about, they have fear that, okay, I don't know what will happen, what's my career curve. And when the minds are not engaged, I was surprised to look at the attrition levels were same as it was before. You would have thought that, okay, people would not be moving out, right? People staying, but the attrition levels are same. New people are joining the organization, and that's the biggest challenge which is being created for an organization, because now you cannot do the induction effectively, and because we are still learning how to do that, and the people are leaving organizations. So this talks about engaged mind. And
Yes.
Sunny, correct me, the 1,000 ideas, the people who would have contributed to these, those were the happiest of the lot, and they're going to stay longer with the organization. By doing this ideation, right, you have created longevity of those people within an organization. Your attrition rate we have reduced, and
Yeah.
this would have added a lot of value to an organization other than the benefit of execution.
Yeah, very rightly said, Praveen. I wanted to come back on the statement what you shared already, that in the beginning of the ideation, that yes, we generated more than 1,000 ideas, but we had created an environment where we were not discouraging any ideas. Let it be duplicate, let it get rejected. So I'll tell you, over hundreds of ideas were the duplicate ideas, but still, even after the evaluation and everything, we got 600 fresh ideas. Can you believe that? Which got accepted by the management, which can be implemented as the next step as a Kaizen. And talking about the attrition ratio, in my company, the attrition rate is still below 10.
Wow, good. So you're saying two things. One, in terms of the 60% of the ideas is something which is accepted, like which are kind of appreciated, like out of
Correct.
1,000. So you're saying 60% good ideas which has been accepted by the management for implementation, resources assigned, right? And why
Yes.
that happened? Because there would be an ROI attached.
Correct.
The best part about the employee ideation is the ideas that come, most of those ideas would be low investment and high ROI ideas.
You are absolutely right, Praveen.
Right? So that's why the acceptance ratio is high. So 60% is a very good number. And
Yes.
yeah, so attrition levels are staying below 10. Excellent. Yeah. Great. Okay. Thanks, Sunny. Okay, if there are no more questions, then can I think Rahul, yes, Rahul, I think you wanted to ask something or share something.
I just wanted to say hi, and I'm extremely sorry for joining this late because my previous meeting got extended.
You have missed the session.
Actually, yes.
No problem. So I think the best of sessions are yet to start. So this was only an ice-breaking session. So
Okay.
I think,
So
yeah.
Praveen, Rohit here. Good to see Rahul as well.
Yeah. Hey Rohit, welcome to the session. Great.
Hey, hi, Rohit.
I just saw the last question very relevant in terms of how do we institutionalize. I just wanted to share one comment here, because it is also important once we implement the idea, it is important to kind of have a central repository and also parameterize those ideas in a way that, okay, whether it is the kind of simplicity which it has, or can it be horizontally deployed, what is the cost benefit, what is the implementation cost, I mean, how is it, so that then that repository becomes very important for replication, so people can refer that repository and then kind of take it forward for
knowledge bank.
Yeah, so that is something which is also very important. So
okay,
I just a thought.
Okay, so I think Raki has a question, and I will like request Jasmine at the end of her session to answer the Raki's question as well. That how do one create ideation culture within organization that encourage ideation process as continuous process, right? Because I'm eating up Jasmine time, so I will
No, no,
like.
you're sure to go ahead. You're sure to go
No, no,
ahead,
that's
but I
fine.
will
I
answer
think
her too.
I know a lot part of this is covered in your presentation, your white paper, right? So yeah, at the end of it, right? If you would still want me to answer that, I will answer it. But at the end of your white paper, right? I don't want to eat up your time, right? So I'm just making you co-host, and all the best, right?
Sure. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so on to Jasmine, right? Maybe Jasmine, you can quickly introduce yourself, and a lot of I would say thanks to you to joining in. It's like kind of 4:35 a.m. at Virginia, and you're still here, right? Thanks for joining us. Right, on to
Thank
you,
you.
Jasmine. Please go ahead.